it's crazy, but it's
You're watching Channel Z, the world's leading zombie apocalypse channel, broadcasting live from Studio Z.
Makes me act the way I do.
Welcome to Undead Live, reporting live from the front lines of the zombie apocalypse. We have your back morning, noon, or night, whether you're dead, undead, fully alive, recently deceased.
Mostly alive.
Yeah, we have the apocalypse covered here.
So, yeah, and who are we?
I am Athena Actipus, your host today, and you're also a host today, aren't you, Dave?
But I'm not Athena. I'm Dave Lundberg-Kenrick, and welcome.
Yes, welcome to this episode of Undead Live. So now that the apocalypse is kind of returned to a point where we're actually like leaving the house, you know, we kind of passed the like hunker down part of the apocalypse. We're in the like going out, exploring. Here we are.
We're here. We're in the same room in this new bunker.
Yeah. So where are we exactly? You were like, let's meet at this location.
Well, I don't know if we want to disclose the location, but you know, we have found what seems to be a pretty safe place to maybe ride out the apocalypse, right?
Yeah. So this will be our home base for Channel Z for a while. We'll be here and up in our production value a little bit by being able to be in person.
And we'll be here through the conference, right?
Yeah,
where there'll be other
Zam.
people leaving the house. And
yes, we might actually have many people here in the studio with us.
Yes.
As long as the apocalypse doesn't escalate within the next month. You never know.
That's the fun of the apocalypse, is you never know what the future brings. So,
right. Yeah, and you never know what's going to happen when you leave your house.
That's right. So when you're leaving your house, what do you need?
Yeah, well, so that's the topic of our show today, which is everyday carry. So what does everyday carry mean to you, Dave? So
when you first asked me about everyday carry, I thought I'd only heard it in the context of like guns. And I was like, I don't really have any sort of everyday carry. And so then, but apparently that's not the only thing it means, right?
Yeah, it means a lot of things. And I mean, for some people, that's part of what they carry around every day. But for a lot of people, it's not.
So did we did a Twitter poll, right?
We did, yeah. So let's pull up this Twitter poll. So what does everyday carry mean to you? I asked folks on Twitter, and most people had the same conception as you.
Okay, so
yeah, but also a lot of people said, well, it's what's in my pocket. So it's what I'm carrying around or what I have in my purse or go bag. A few people said mini survival kit, maybe because they carry that with them. So yeah, we've got people.
But essentially, it seems like the theme is what you need to survive day to day, right? And I fortunately don't feel like I need to carry a weapon to survive day to day, but that's probably not the same for a park ranger or something. So, but there are certain things I need every single day.
Yeah.
Right?
So what do you need, Dave? What do you have? What do you have in your pockets?
Okay,
What's your everyday carry?
I always try to go light, but I never quite succeed. So this is what I have: my phone, right, which serves a lot of functions.
What's this?
This is my retainer case, which I almost always forget. And I actually put, one of the things I was going to mention, I put a tile. Oh, my retainer's in there. That's gross. But there's also a tile in there. That was the thing I wanted to show people because I can never find it. And so the tile, those little things that beep.
Oh.
And then I've got my wallet, which also has a tile in it.
Okay.
And
all right.
Yeah, I should.
Just a few things.
Another key. Oh, and then this I showed on Twitter. This is
are those cat treats?
This is dog treats, yes, in an old Game Boy cartridge case because it's a slim, and that's really all.
Is this in case you get like attacked by dogs and you're like, here, take the treats instead?
Actually, you know what? Sort of. I was biking with my dad one time and we saw dogs having a fight and we weren't sure what to do, and so that's part of why I actually carry the treats, but also for my dog. And then I also realized I have all these crazy things I wear. I wear little bits of accessory cord that I often will use if a shoe falls apart.
Is this actually a charging cord that you're wearing as a bracelet?
Yes, this is a charging cord. Now, this is a thing I've made myself, and I really would like somebody to make an official charging cord bracelet because I always want a charging cord.
That's a brilliant idea.
So
that's Jason said he's got his charging cord too, and hot sauce.
So yeah, what about you?
Well, I've got like levels of everyday carry. Yeah.
Do we want to bring?
But why don't we bring our go bag or not go bag? I'm Everyday carry versus go bag. We should probably get that out of the way too. But we'll bring on our expert, Keith Tidball. Keith, you want to come up here and join us?
Hey everybody.
Hey Keith.
Hey, see you
guys.
Yeah,
thanks
good to
for,
see you.
thanks for having me to your bunker here.
Yeah, thanks for coming. So Keith, tell us just like a little bit about who you are before we get started here.
Well, I'm a lot of things. I wear a lot of hats. I'm an academic at Cornell University in the Department of Natural Resources and the Environment. I'm a veteran. I'm an outdoors person, and I'm a person that believes that one should be prepared to thrive more than survive in the out in the world, outside of the bunker. And I think I like what I'm seeing so far with your everyday carry. Perhaps I can augment that a little bit.
Sure.
Awesome. So maybe we should just talk a little bit about like what is everyday carry and how is it different from like a go bag, or how's it different from, other things that you might carry with you in the event of an emergency?
Well, I think it's beyond the idea of survival and emergency, actually. I think it really does have to do with thriving. I think you want to be in a position where you have what you need to thrive in the world and to project the confidence that you need to not only survive, but thrive. And I think that there's a number of levels. And you sort of hit on this a little bit, Athena. There's your sort of primary everyday carry, which I have things in my pockets too. Then there's your secondary carry, which for me would be, we all have to carry a briefcase or something to our places of work anyway. So there's an opportunity there. Then there's this sort of extended carry, which for me is my vehicle. And then there's, when the stuff hits the fan, as it were, which is your go bag, which is a little different, little different story than everyday carry. I think it's important though to think about self-awareness, sort of mindfulness and understanding what would I need to feel prepared, to feel good. Yeah. And I think one of the things that's most important is always keep a list of what you don't have when you realize you don't have it, and then add that to your everyday carry. Because, for example, my glasses, if I don't have these in any sort of circumstance, my day starts to suck. And what everyday carry is supposed to do is prevent sucking. So to me, that's the key.
Awesome. Well, we have a bunch of questions coming in. People are sort of wondering what they should be carrying or not to be safe. I'm going to show you guys, if you want, what I've got in my layers, and then we'll see what Keith's got. So I've got my multi-layer. This is my like little wallet, my phone. You kind of have a same thing, right, Dave? You've got your like wallet and phone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, so that's kind of like my, if I'm going somewhere where I know what I've got. You also have your sort of basic, like what you carry day to day.
Every day.
Multi-tool cache.
Lighter. Okay.
So no
got
wallet?
Keys.
Or is there a wallet coming?
Generally in a sort of urban environment like we're in here, I would just carry something discreet.
Oh, that's nice. Just a sort of
because I'm staying at a hotel, I don't want to be advertised.
Hotel
Here,
key.
let's bring the Zcam in on this.
So all I've got really is my hotel key, my ID, and a credit card.
Okay, so
and
that's nice.
My cash is with my multi-tool, and this also has a seatbelt cutter, so this is not your run-of-the-mill multi-tool. I would highly recommend one of these. And then fire.
Nice. Fire water. Here in the desert, I carry my water all the time. Gotta keep that.
Right. Water is
full.
one of the top things I forget. Right. That I've often been out on hikes and I either don't have water or I don't have enough water. And so that is.
Got my hot beverage or cold beverage.
Yeah, this is Yeti, right? And there's a number of knockoffs. These are awesome because they not only keep things hot, but they keep things cold. And there are a lot of cases where you may need ice for a little while. Not just for your cocktail, but for keeping stuff that's important cold. For example, if you happen to lop off your finger and you want to put it back on at some point, that's a nice spot to put that.
Yeah, here, Dave, you can put your finger in
there. That's gonna be better than my retainer case.
I think so. Got a better chance of reattaching it.
Well, and then we could, with the water too, you could also use that. Like, say Dave's finger fell off, we could rinse his finger and the wound in some water, stick the finger in the Yeti with the ice, and be okay for a little while.
That's true. Yeah, I'm really not prepared for finger loss with my kit. I've realized. So,
I've got my sunglass case too. So this is because I gotta have my sunglasses at all times. So. But then sometimes you want to actually take them off and not have them get destroyed. If I'm gonna need to get into a sprint, if I'm being chased by zombies, I need to take a sec, put my sunglasses in the case, put my case away before I start running from the zombies. So
I also find if I'm traveling anywhere,
Where's our
second
Z-cam?
second set of glasses.
get our Z-cam in here.
Well, that's
Yeah.
something that I'll actually talk about. This is really cool that you have an old school case like this. One of the things with everyday carry is to be an opportunist and to really think about, what am I doing? What am I carrying? Why do I have this? And this is an opportunity. There's a lot of space in here. You could actually, using Velcro, you could put a lot of key things like the little screwdriver set you need to repair your glasses.
Oh,
For example, you could put that in here and a number of other things, a little creativity. And this case becomes more than just a case. It becomes
that's a great
something
idea.
with multiple utility, which is key
Awesome.
in everyday carry.
Yeah. Got my academic everyday carry, my planner, my moleskin for, all the ideas that I used to have before the zombie virus took over my brain. And then, if I need to go to that other level, I've got this.
Now, what is this?
So this is if I'm going outside of my usual day-to-day life, if I'm going hiking, I'm traveling, then I carry a lot of stuff. I've got a mask, I've got some, general first aid kind of stuff. I've got a whistle and a harmonica in case I get really bored and need to, make some noise. Actually, having a way to make noise is good, I think, right? If you need to.
I actually also carry a harmonica, even one of those marine band harmonicas,
Do
when
you?
I go outside, because it's really good for communicating to people I find far away. It sort of is a little more versatile than a whistle. So, and it's fun.
Yeah. So, I mean, the thing that I have that's maybe a little different than a lot of people might have, I've had this little wool headband thing, because my greatest weakness is that if my ears get cold, I can't function. Completely stop functioning. So, so I got this stashed in here, and it's come in handy sometimes. And actually, I had another item in here this morning. I had a little candy bar thing, but
Thank you for that.
you're welcome.
Oh, did you use it? You gave it?
Yeah, it was a key thing. I'm on a different time schedule here, and Athena was prepared.
Yeah, so we went to get a cup of coffee before coming over here, and they were out of pastries, and Keith needed to eat. So I was like, I got something in my
Look at
carry,
that. You
so-
reduced suffering.
Yeah.
So-
Well, and the thing is that she's talking about a couple of important things here. The warmth. It's not just fire. It's also, shelter. And I'll show you a couple things in here. Having some calories, or the ability to produce some calories. And it's not just the vessel to have water. I think it's important to be able to procure water in any situation. And we're not talking about what happens if you're being chased by zombies necessarily. What happens if your car runs out of gas along the side of the road? I mean, there are all kinds of areas where you will want to be a little more prepared than most people are thinking through. Maybe this is an opportunity.
Yeah. Could you show us what you've got?
Most people carry a rucksack around. This is my
Let's get our Z-cam on that.
go to work
Z-cam,
rucksack.
you can come all the way around here if you want.
First and foremost, it needs to be functional. So there's a compartment here, which is the laptop. And you can probably slide a couple of other items in there. And I'm going to put a little plug in for the manufacturers of this particular rucksack. This is a GoRuck by a company called GoRuck, founded by Jason McCarthy, a special forces kind of guy.
We're not funded by GoRuck, by
No.
the way. Neither is Keith. He actually just really likes.
I just like this because it works. This is just a regular beaner clip. This can be used for all kinds of things in an emergency or in a pinch. The thing that I saw a little bit of hints of there in your pack, Athena, was a first aid kit. I don't go anywhere without this. And I've got probably 10 of these, and think I gave you one of these.
You
at some
did, yeah.
point.
Yeah.
This field trauma kit is great because it includes quick clot. So it was invented for gunshot wounds in the military, but it's really good if you happen upon a car accident or something and you want to be helpful, or you're in a car accident. So I always have the first aid kit with me, and a little bit of extras, hand sanitizer, a little extra bandaging. That's on the outside, so it's easily accessed no matter what I'm doing. If you go a little deeper, these things open as a sandwich. So here's the first part of the sandwich. I got my academic carry as well.
Mm-hmm.
In here, a couple of key items. I've got, in a pinch, I got a spoon and some opener type things, and some more not particularly sharp items, but items that are needed, including some electronic stuff, various
I see.
adapters
I see.
and things.
Okay, so this is more like academic carry stuff. Is like what you need to have your academic communications working, or in general,
your tunes or what have you.
All right.
Just sort of stuff that's needed. Here is a kit similar to Athena's. In this, it's got some of the goodies. So here is a pen that is waterproof. Here is, these are all drivers, different small bits. This is a miniature flashlight. This is a corkscrew, got to have that. You know how often you end up places where you need a corkscrew and don't have one? It turns out this is one of those things I wrote down that you got to have that in your EDC. Safety pins help here and there. This is that little kit that I mentioned, Dave, that for those of us that wear glasses, this is those little screws that you need to replace and whatever else. Super glue always comes in handy. This is a little magnifying glass.
Ooh.
Also helpful for starting fires in a pinch, but certainly useful for those of us whose eyesight is declining. Multi-tool.
With another spork.
Another spork, can opener, a couple of hex drivers.
I mean, you're ready for like a party. You've got
Right,
like
you can
2 sporks and a corkscrew. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
you know.
going to be a fun night. So
If you come across canned food or have canned food and you can't get it open, that's generally a bummer. Fire, of course, more cabling, magic markers, especially Sharpies are good to have, some zip ties.
zip ties.
You talked about shelter and warmth, an emergency blanket. Very little
That's
effort.
a super thin
Space
emergency
blanket. This
space
thing will
blanket.
be a lifesaver if you're in a cold environment.
How big does that expand to?
This is 52 inches by 84 inches. So it's
Wow.
sizable. So that's, level 1. If this is useful not only for you for shelter, but if you encounter somebody who's been in a car accident and they're maybe going to go into shock, you need to be able to keep them warm. This will be super helpful to have with you.
So the whole like car accident thing has come up a bunch. And I mean, car accidents are a really common source of mortality in the modern world, but it's not something that most people are ready to deal with.
I think that is, if you think about risk, that's one of the biggest things that's out there, not only for us individuals to get into car accidents, but to come across accidents and not want to be helpless in order to help people.
Right.
So in my extended carry, which is my vehicle, I have much more first aid equipment. But anywhere that I'm walking, you could be walking along the street here and see a car accident, and hopefully you're in a position to be a good Samaritan and do something about that. And that helps you thrive.
Yeah.
Not only helps somebody else survive, it helps you thrive.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully it's kind of a communal
Yeah.
give back. I can continue on
Yes,
here if
please.
you'd like.
Yeah.
So in here, more creature comforts. Very lightweight hammock, just in case I got to spend the night somewhere.
Wow.
More of a survival sort of bivouac. Second stage of shelter beyond the emergency blanket.
Wait, so what is that exactly?
It's a little tent.
What? No way.
Yep. Gloves, gotta have.
How does this work? How is this a tent?
It's like a sleeping bag for your sleeping bag, right? Yeah.
That's really what
it's
it
like
is. And it props itself up and provides you some shelter from extreme wind. If your car is disabled on the way from Flagstaff to here or something like that, you've got an option there besides staying in your vehicle. I always carry a number of reflective items in the event that either myself or somebody needs to be moving around in the dark, so that you're not creating additional hazard for yourself by not being visible to cars, traffic, whatever.
Again, this is maybe something that would come in really handy in the case of a car accident.
Or in the case that you have to walk from your vehicle to fetch water, gas, something, and you want to be visible along the side of the road. I think it's super important. There's a lot of stories, unfortunate ones, about people not being seen.
Yeah, gloves.
Gloves for obvious reasons, not just cold, but also doing work, hot things, sharp things. Continuing on, still on the first level of the sandwich, here is some more stuff. Glow sticks, I think, are important to have along. They don't weigh much.
Also, for the party.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you don't have the ability, in my vehicle, I have the triangles to warn people if my vehicle's disabled or somebody else's. But if you're just wearing this and you see a disabled vehicle in the dark, you can at least provide a little signaling if they're not able to provide any light. Other key things, a little roll of duct tape for fixing stuff.
I got my little little rolls of duct tape.
Yeah, that's important. I mean, you can fix a lot of things with duct tape in an emergency or in a pinch. This is repair fabric for all of our Gore-Tex kind of things. And I wrap that 3 times with electrical tape, because never know when you might need an inch or two of electrical tape to fix something electrical. All of this stuff doesn't take much weight or space, but you're happy and confident because you have it. More Sharpie, gotta have light. This is a pretty lightweight Surefire lamp that provides many lumens in the event that you need to see in the dark, which is kind of critical to surviving and thriving in the dark. We can go further into
the next layer.
Next layer.
So I have a question. This is super interesting. So do you, when we say everyday carry, like, so now you're traveling, right? But if you were going to work, would you take this with you?
This goes with me everywhere I go.
Really? Okay.
And actually, even having this in the overhead compartment when you're on an airplane is confidence building.
So we've got a question. How much does your bag weigh? Do you know? Oh, it's not really heavier than what I carry to work every day. I mentioned like extra stuff
on
in
the
my
order
bag
of
too.
20 to 22 pounds with the laptop in it.
Yes. It definitely feels like a backpack, right? It feels like
it's a little heavier than your little satchel, but
yeah,
peace of mind is
right.
what you're worth carrying, what you're willing to carry. Going a little further. Here's more sort of academic or electronic dependent sort of carry. So various chargers and things always run with a cigarette lighter adapter that can take USB charging, because we've all been in a case where our phone's not charged and we need a little backup.
That might have happened to me this morning.
Some of us need a chocolate bar, some of us need a charge. Again, more charging apparatus. This has the Velcro on it so that it can be affixed to a generator or something if need be.
So do you also have like Velcro stuff like on everything? Is that a thing?
Yes. It does help to just keep things organized. One of the things that will happen in everyday carry when you get to secondary carry like this or like yours is that very quickly things can get disorganized. It's important to maintain organization so that in a hurry or in a pinch, you can find what you need quickly. I don't go anywhere without this. This is my solar answer, basically. This is a solar panel. This will charge everything that's in here, including my laptop.
Do you have a battery that feeds into, or
right
just?
There.
Oh, it has a battery.
The battery pack. This is a little, overboard maybe for some, but I've been in enough situations. I enjoy being off grid as much as possible, but you still have all this stuff, cameras and all kinds of things that you want to use. This thing is a lifesaver, and it doesn't cost much or weigh much to have on your everyday carry and the secondary everyday carry.
So how often do you use something like that?
Probably once a month, just to charge it and exercise it. And again, with all of this equipment or your items, you need to practice. You have to exercise what you're carrying. Otherwise you forget what it is, or it expires, or you use it like a chocolate bar and you forget to replace it. Then when you need it, it's not there. So, I try to use this stuff once a month just to make sure it's being exercised and inventoried. I like to keep things like, I saw some everyday carry stuff online where people have things hanging off them. We call that a camp problem in the Army.
What does that mean, a camp
problem? Well, there were actually some terminology around that basically just means you've got stuff hanging all off of you, which is really going to impede your progress or your ability to succeed.
Yeah.
So you should have, especially cords and dangly things, secured. So this is just where I keep my laptop cords, so that I don't have cords all over in here when I'm trying to get at something quick or in the dark. I strongly encourage, when you're thinking through EDC at the secondary level, to have stuff sacks and things where you're organizing your stuff. Obviously, you got to have water, but beyond the water, which is coming from the tap here.
A lot of people are super jealous of your inventory, by the way. Like, so many of the comments that are coming in, people are like, I want to barter with Keith for survival. I want this inventory.
I know where you can get some of this stuff if you're interested. This is a life straw, a really simple life straw. In the event that you need to procure water that isn't from a tap, good to go. And it weighs a couple of ounces. And then finally, we're in a bunker near a campus that has rules, and you mentioned some things about firearms. Firearms are a part of my everyday carry in most contexts, not today, but in the event that I was carrying, it would be here, which is a secure area that includes room for my handguns and other things, to include my headlamp. I would never leave home without my headlamp, because there just seems to be so many things, even if it's minor things that you want to be able to react to more than survive but thrive, where you need it like on your head and your hands free. So the headlamp, I think, is a key one. Also, I keep a ready supply of larger zip ties for big fixes or big problems?
Yeah. So tell us about the zip tie thing. Like, what do you use
Sure.
the zip
Oh, wow.
ties? Wow. I've never seen zip ties.
Well, they can be used to reaffix your muffler. They can be used for securing things like splints on a hurt leg. It can be used to restrain a person that needs to be restrained. There's all kinds of uses for those zip ties, and it's nice to know that you got a couple on board. They don't weigh much. They don't take a lot of space.
So in the zombie apocalypse, zip ties might actually come in pretty handy.
Of all sizes, even the smallest zip ties can come in very handy.
Yeah. I used a bunch of zip ties on my bike the other day because there were like things hanging off and stuff was kind of like jangling, and I just like zip tied it, and I was like, yeah. But I didn't think about putting zip ties in my everyday carry.
That and Velcro to me is one of the key ways to make sure that you can continue to maneuver without things falling off you or hanging off you that can get caught and slow you down. And I think, when you're talking about everyday carry in the zombie apocalypse sort of mode, maneuver is key. You need to be able to stay warm or cool. You need to be able to have water and food, and you need to have security. And around all that, always infused in all of that is maneuver, the ability to continue to move. If you take that out of a threat environment or a hazard environment or what have you, and then put that into just I want to exist in the world and thrive and be happy and feel confident, then those things still apply. So this doesn't necessarily have to be limited to sort of a threat-based mindset. I think it's part and parcel to a more of a positive outlook coming out of the apocalypse or coming out of COVID-19 or what have you. I spent enough time worrying about bad guys in a military context or otherwise. I think it's important to worry about being happy, to worry about being
we have a question. Bring something for your mental health as well as physical, like this, right? I mean, I can't really play it well, but
go for it.
Fantastic.
Right?
That's pretty good.
Gonna keep you happy in the zombie apocalypse. So, I mean, maybe not. That's as much as I can play. So I just have to hear that over and over again.
The waterproof pen is another one in terms of keeping the mental health there. The ability to write things down in adverse environments is pretty important, not only for your own sort of self-fulfillment, but for a record, in the event that somebody needs to see what you've been doing and where you've been, or you want to leave messages. A pen is good, a Sharpie's better, and a waterproof ink pen is best.
Yeah, it seems like there's a couple of themes here that are really important. So one is kind of like knowing yourself and your vulnerabilities, and also just the things that you need personally to thrive. And then there's being aware of the environment that you're in and the kinds of threats that you're likely to encounter. So the whole car accident thing, that came up a lot, right? Because that is a really common thing that happens. Even if it doesn't happen to you, it might happen to somebody. You might see somebody in need on the side of the road in a situation where there's, nobody else around and the paramedics can't come quickly.
I think of all of these as opportunities rather than reactionary threat mitigation, opportunities to be redemptive, to be in a position to be a savior, to be a helper. And I don't mean to be on a crusade where you're riding around, as if you're in a sort of messianic complex or anything. But if you roll up on an accident scene, even if it's a bike accident, I would like to be the person who isn't helpless, who is ready to be able to provide help, believing that sort of opportunity to be redemptive adds something to a broader ecosystem that we're all living in, and that this preparedness and everyday carry, if you're focused on that and you're constantly evaluating that, you're actually providing more opportunities to do that.
So I have a question based on this, because we're sort of talking about everyday carry. We're also talking about sort of the most common everyday micro apocalypses, right? Like a car accident, or seeing somebody needs their phone charged. Are there other like small emergency scenarios that are common enough that they should be things we should be prepared for?
I personally believe that anything that knocks a person off of their steady state can be problematic enough that, I don't know how we want to operationalize apocalypse.
I mean, I think in this context, just everyday sort of emergency that you might be on your way to work, or you might be going throughout the day and you might realize, somebody needs a candy bar, right? That's not necessarily apocalyptic in a global sense, but it's a small thing where you can help. Are there certain scenarios that
Well, I mean, you're hitting on them. I think anytime that somebody is in a state of discomfort, whether that's inconvenienced, whether you can help somebody by fixing a broken bike because they're stressing out, they're late to an exam here in an academic environment. I mean, I could probably help out and have lots on things like that. Or if it's discomfort medically or, in terms of health, maybe you can help out. Even if it's like they just got stung by bees. I saw you're ready with some things in the example of a sting event, or beyond sort of medical sorts of emergencies. Just the ability to provide some water or some relief in terms of calories when somebody's hurting. Or even just the peace of mind that knowing that you roll up and maybe it's not dire, but it's dark. And so a little bit of reflective equipment and some light is comforting to somebody. And for the 10 or 15 minutes that they need to feel comfort and feel like things are under control and not slipping wildly into an apocalyptic out of control scenario, if you can provide that till the first responders arrive and then you leave and say, have a great day, you've made a difference in the world in a way that I think is important. We got to have bunkers and we got to have places to go, but we also have to be willing to get out there and be helpful, be proactive.
Yeah, thanks. That's awesome. And so Keith, where can people find you if they want to follow you? Are you on social media?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. I can easily be found at the kgt2@cornell.edu. And you all know how to find me.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think you're probably going to be getting lots of requests for you to be on people's Z teams. We had a lot of comments. People are like, I want this guy on my side in the zombie apocalypse. So I think you'll have to get ready to field a lot of those requests.
I'm happy to do that.
I actually I have a request because I know we're about to wrap up, I believe. Yeah. In the comments, after the show, could we put together just a list of what the top things are, almost in order? Because I think for a lot of people, they might not know where to start. And then we just put those in the YouTube comments. And if anybody wants
Absolutely. Happy to help with that. And I would just encourage, just keep a running list. If anybody's working on this, keep a running list of the things that will help you thrive, beyond survive, thrive. And just keep adding to your EDC. Be very conscientious, intentional, and mindful about it. Keep it short, small, and light.
All right.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, and I will say, so Keith and I have been talking about EDC, about go bags, about survival kits, shelter in place kits for a long time. And together with Neil Smith, who's our illustrator, we're putting together not just some lists, but also some illustrations. So we will be posting those. So follow us on Zombified Media. It'll be happening, over the next month or two. So we'll be pushing out some of that material so that everybody can, get their emergency preparedness and or everyday thrival act together. Yeah.
Great.
Cool.
Great. All right. Well, Keith, thanks so much for being here on the show with us.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And thank you to all of you for joining us for this edition of Undead Live on Channel Z. Remember, the best way to protect your brains in the zombie apocalypse is to share them, as we've seen today, right? You can't keep all that to yourself. You got to share not just your brains, but also whatever survival gear.
Yeah. So share this video with your friends.
Yes. And like this video if you haven't already, and subscribe.
Right.
I forgot
subscribe.
to say
Do all the
that.
things
Do
that
all
you're
those
supposed
things.
to do.
The little buttons on the bottom. Push all those buttons.
And put questions in the comments. And then also
absolutely.
we've got the conference coming up.
Yeah,
right?
ZAM 2022 is happening here in this studio, October 20th through 23rd. You can go ahead and go on our website and register now if you want. We will both be in person and we will be live streaming, so it's gonna be super fun. And you can also join us all next Monday here. We're gonna have a special Dr. Zed show about the monkeypocalypse, I think.
Are there gonna be monkeys here?
We don't know.
We'll have to tune in to find
out whether Dave gets attacked by monkeys next time.
Well, that'd be Joe, right? Joe would be getting attacked by the monkeys, I guess. Unless
it's possible, but if you're in the studio, they'll probably be attacking
go after
you.
me.
They'll go
okay.
after you.
All right.
Yeah. In fact, we might need you here just to keep the monkeys off of the talent.
All right, I'm gonna have to update my everyday carry with some monkey related things. Zip ties, yes.
Zip ties,
right.
yes. And we'll have our infectious disease expert Jessica Brinkworth.
Oh, okay.
Next
So I'll
week.
need teeny tiny zip ties.
That's right. So until then, thank you all for joining us on Undead Live. Remember, we've got the apocalypse covered.
I know it's It's crazy, but it seems so logical. I can't deny that there is something supernatural with you.